It was April 2004. I'd just flown in from Bangladesh and I was exhausted. And we had a really quick turnaround. The next day, had to fly to Raleigh, North Carolina. I'd never been to Raleigh, North Carolina. And as I landed in the middle of what seemed like a giant forest, I was picked up by the driver. And as we were driving to the hotel where the host church had put me up, the Holy Spirit spoke to me, to my astonishment, and said, "This is where I want you to plant the church that I've put as a seed dream in the heart of you and Kate."
Duncan and Kate's dream to plant a church began to take root, and in 2008, Catch the Fire Raleigh was officially planted. Over the past 13 years, the legacy of Catch the Fire Raleigh could not have been possible without the many people that have joined in this journey. Because of you and your generosity, we continue to build our legacy today.
Legacy is so important because legacy includes a vision that is for future generations, and a vision that doesn't end with just one generation but continues for our children and our children's children. And God is a God of covenant but also legacy, and his values, his heart, his vision for the nations continues through different time zones and different generations. And it's so important that we build a future for our children who can see themselves in the context of the kingdom. What does the kingdom expression look like for their generation? And as leaders, it's so important that we begin to let go of some of the reins so that the expression in another generation is given permission to flow.
Because of you, our kids and students are having life-changing encounters with God. There is no junior Holy Spirit. This year, Kids Ministry hosted their first day camp with 68 campers and volunteers. 147 kids were reached in our Sunday services, and 11 kids dedicated their lives to Jesus. At Ignited's annual camp, 4 students received Jesus for the first time, and 37 students rededicated their lives to Jesus, and 20 scholarships were given out.
So I came to camp on the first day, and I was wrecked. Like, I was completely transformed, and then worship just kept going, and it kept going every day, getting better and better and better, and I just kept getting filled and filled and filled, and pretty soon I realized my calling. I just kept hearing God say all week, go and make disciples of our people.
Legacy is multi-generational, and our next-gen ministries are vital to our legacy. Our mission is to encounter God and go beyond the 4 walls of the church into our local communities, making disciples and bringing the gospel. Through Embrace and our outreach teams, thousands of people in the Triangle region encountered the love of Jesus.
Today we're going into just a neighborhood, but it's quite large. Somewhere around 1,000 people live there. When we first started going in, we went to one place, and long story short, in just a little over a year, we're going to about 150. The neighborhood is known for lots of crime and violence. There's been many shootings over the years, many deaths over the years. But the Lord has given us such great favor, and we consider it such a privilege to partner with our friends there to help in any way we can. And honestly, some of the most prominent testimonies on our part is when we come out better than we went in with talking with folks. They add to us, we feel, much more than we add to them.
Because of you, over 500 families are fed and discipled weekly in Durham. Because of you, 200 families received turkeys for Thanksgiving, and 220 Thanksgiving meals were given out. As a global family on mission together, making disciples in our communities, training and equipping leaders is essential to sustaining revival and cultivating vibrant, healthy churches and ministries. Because of you, over 400 pastors were trained, equipped, and imparted to in the U.S. and across the world through Catch the Fire World and Leaders Alliance. Because of you, land in Niger was purchased and construction began for a pastors and leaders training center. Because of your generosity of finances and time, our local church family was blessed, our cities were blessed, and our nation and the world were blessed. We couldn't fulfill God's call for this house without you. Thank you for sharing in this legacy and continuing God's story. Legacy is the leaving behind of something, the passing on of both the tangible and intangible. Legacy is outside of time and supersedes our present. It's far beyond even our very selves. It's outside of what our finite paradigm can even grasp. Legacy is our imprint and footprint that we leave on the world long after we've been gone. Legacy has been at the very heart of God from the beginning when He spoke the earth into existence. Because He's the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, the God of the generations, the covenant God, the God of legacy. And He's calling us to His heart, to the calling of generosity, the calling of giving of ourselves for something beyond what we can yet comprehend, the radical nature of sacrifice, and the laying down of all things at His feet. What will your legacy be?